Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel and welcome to day 88 of the 100-Day Project. This is going to be a slightly different video and probably a short one as well. The other day when I was digging through, a night table, I found this in one of the drawers and I'm thinking, well, it looks pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. Like the copper, like the feathers. Let me just kind of give you a bird's eye view. And I realized that that was when I was sort of regularly using tarot cards to see if there was some insight or see what all the fuss was about. I had bought a beautiful deck of cards and thought that, like I'm curious about many things in life, so why would this be any different? So I, obviously, I think my deck is called the Muse. Anyway, so I started writing down sort of what I was finding and then abruptly stopped. But yet, I've had this journal kicking around for the last few days, thinking, I like the feel of it. To be honest, I don't know what I did here. And take a look at this, at these stitches here. I've got 5 signatures and only 3 rows of stitching. I'm thinking, well, what in the world was I doing? So these are doubles. These two outer ones are doubles. So I thought to myself, like the pages are also really pretty thick. I can't really tell what I've done here, although yeah, you can see that there's gesso. You can see that I have run some paper across the gutter, which is usually not that successful a strategy. Here this is peeling back. I obviously used a lot of paper from, those little stationery sets. And goodness knows, I've got lots of those. You'd almost think that's upside down. Unless, of course, the tulips you're used to grow, like with the heads pointing up. So really, what in the world was I doing here? So that made me think, oh, and it also appears that for whatever reason, I put 2 signatures through the same set of holes. So what I would like to do with you as a witness, maybe laughing from the peanut gallery, I'd like to take this thing apart, salvage what I can, maybe really get to the bottom of what I've done here. Like, honestly, oh, that would be kind of nice. But so it looks like I used magazine pages that had been, or book pages, glossy ones, that have been gessoed. But I don't know. Anyway, let me entertain you. I'm going to bite the bullet and just cut this baby open. Oh, and when I turned on the camera, I realized, oh boy, those hands are pretty gross. I, simultaneously with doing this, I have been I mixed up a batch of avocado dye, and so I've been, putzing around with that. And I should have, hindsight, 2020, probably used gloves. Now, I guess, wouldn't it have been smarter to cut it here? Mind you, what's the difference? It's not, I'm going to sell these itty bitty pieces. So yes, okay, I'll tell you how I do it. And I did take a few pictures that I'll probably put on Instagram. When I buy avocados, I of course remove the pit, and you know that there's no rhyme or reason to the size of the pits. Some are gigantic and there's hardly any meat, and then others are, you know, all meat and very teeny tiny little pits. Anyway, I wash them off and sort of, you know, just leave them on the counter for a day or so just to make sure they're thoroughly dry. And then I throw them in a Ziploc bag in the freezer, just in the fridge freezer. And the reason for that is that I've left them on the counter, and you can't do that indefinitely. Number one, they start drying up and shriveling up. Or if you haven't thoroughly cleaned them, you know, they can get kind of gross. So I had about 6 or 8 pits of different sizes, and I thought, well, okay. I did some tea dyeing the other day. Why don't I just, kind of on a roll here, why don't I just keep going with that? I guess I'm making quite a bit of noise, so let's just set that aside. So yeah, that's what I've done. Oh, I started to say, I put the pits in some water on the stove, brought it to a boil, and just let them simmer. And I didn't, because of course I'm not sitting there watching water boil. I thought I'd better set the timer on the stove, because I can just see getting caught up with something, forgetting, and burning the pot dry. And, you know, that would not be a good thing at all. So I set it for 15 minutes, and then I think I set it again for, you know, 30 or whatever. And then it looked like there wasn't very much water, so I added more and, you know, just let it kind of go. And then kind of just let it cool on the stove. And eventually I got around to, because there was a fair bit of, like the pit has that sort of little brown wrapper on it. I ran it through a strainer, like I poured it through the strainer, and then like into one of those Pyrex measuring cups. I think it's the 4-cup size. And so I put some in a 9x12 pan, like baking pan, and some in a spritz bottle. You know, okay, this is an aside, but maybe you can identify. When you clean up and reorganize, am I the only one who forgets where I put stuff? You know, it's going to be this huge improvement, this wonderful new system that is going to be so good. And like it's been a long time since I dyed any paper on a mass scale. So I have no idea where I put all the stuff. Maybe I took it to the basement, because goodness knows it shouldn't use up prime real estate here. All the spray bottles I have, and some of the not devices, but the things I use for, you know, mark making. So I just had the little tiny spritz bottle that sits on my desk. And anyway, long story short, I was spritzing paper, I was soaking paper, and I spread it all over the island and the stove and the cupboards and everywhere. And yeah, that's how I ended up with these hands. Okay, I will not keep annoying you with the noise of trying to separate these pages, but I have to say I still cannot really tell what is going on here in terms of what was my substrate to begin with. Oh, it's a piece of canvas. That's why it feels that way. Can you see that? This is going to give me some really interesting textures. And, you know, it's no wonder that this almost feels, well, I wanted to say cloth-like, but that's not quite right because it's way stiffer than cloth would be. But you can see that those holes, this has gotten pretty big here. So this would definitely need reinforcement in some way if I'm going to sew in more signatures. Maybe what would be good in a case like this where there is that sort of damage is to turn it into a Midori with the, you know, the elastics and the removable signatures. So I think what I'll do is continue picking at this, removing anything that is kind of loose because it's, you know, it's only a matter of time till it lifts up if it's loose. I should use something wider than a screwdriver. And then decide how and what I'm going to do with this. I just thought it was too good a cover to have kind of wasted in such a way. And likewise with this paper. You know, if I can peel a lot of this off intact, so it must have just been glue stick, then that can become, some are probably going to lift off better than others. That can become collage fodder. Yeah, I don't know how would be a good way to repair that. A canvas patch? Would that do the trick? Anyway, so what, maybe you're trying to identify some of the things as you see them here. So obviously, I said it's canvas, there's music paper, there's tissue paper, there's, you know, obviously modern ledger paper. This was from a notepad. And on this side, I can see dictionary pages. I can see sewing pattern tissue. I'm not sure what this is. And it would appear that I just made those lines with, I don't know, purple felt or something. These are very regular, so they must have been a stencil that I then added the copper paint to. This is a free, this is sort of just a doodle. It's a flower shape that I always see. If I'm doodling, that seems to be what I do. Here's another one here. And I think this is partly why I love collage so much, and I love this whole junk journal endeavor, is because there is no end to the layers and to what a person can see if only they look. And even though I did this, I'm just as baffled as you are as to what is going on here. But that's the joy in trying to decipher that and see hidden media, hidden supplies. And I'm just kind of really pleased that I stumbled across this project because, as I say, I've forgotten it. The last entry that I made in here was some point in 2020. Well, that's a long time ago. And I have, you know, many things on my mind. So, I mean, obviously, if I would have kept up with that daily habit, then this thing would have been used daily. And it wouldn't have been so shocking to me to rediscover it. Oh, maybe the knot is under here. There it is. I don't know what, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what made me think that the pages had to be so thick. I can see that I would have added the paper, whether it's these solid copy papers, ugh, or the little stationery set papers. But what? It does seem a bit of overkill. Like, that is a lot of layers, man. Okay, maybe I'll get a feel for what this was originally. And we praise you because by your holy grace. Okay, these were some sort of poster papers, I think. And because there was gloss to them, would these make a good base for an art journal? See, I said I wouldn't do this in front of you, and yet I can't stop myself. Just had something fall over here. Anyway, so even these little bits that I can't get off, I can gesso over that, and it becomes another layer. That might have to be the project going forward. Who knows? Maybe, what did I say this was? Day 88? Who knows? Maybe day 89 is me carrying on once I've gotten all this stuff peeled off and deciding where to go next. Because it would be a shame to let this, the work that I did and the supplies that I have here just go, you know, the way of the dodo. Okay, that is the plan. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to do my picking in private, and I will be back with the next video that will show you kind of what I'm ready to tackle next. And if there can be some rhyme or reason to how this could be worked, so that perhaps this cover can get reused, because it does seem that since the pages are made and this is kind of artsy, that maybe it's a match made in heaven. I would just need to figure out a way. And again, let me do some thinking, and I'll get back to you. In the meantime, I haven't done this for a long time. I would ask that you please consider subscribing. And once you do that, well, I mean, you can do it either way. Subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing. These are all important actions that you can take that would help me grow this channel and keep creating content. You know, we're closing in. We're at the 500 subscriber mark. There will be a giveaway. And maybe once I'm done taping this 100-day project series, I can get serious about collecting those items and showing them to you, and making it that all much more tempting to do it, to subscribe. Anyway, thanks, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.